So, when were you diagnosed with ADHD?
I was diagnosed with ADHD in the fifth grade.
So, what age were you?
Um, Probably around 10 or 11.
Cool. Did you realize if anything was different before you were diagnosed?
Yeah, I completely did. There was something different. I would always forget things at school. I would always, be called out by the teacher and be told to, sit down or pay attention. And, not a lot of my other students or my peers would be doing that. The teacher wouldn't say that to them. So
Right.
I definitely knew that there was something going on and that I was having a lot of trouble focusing for some reason. I didn't know why.
And how did that make you feel, like, with the teacher, like, calling you out and trying to get you to settle down?
At first, I was like just a little nervous just because I didn't want to know what everybody else would think of me if, I had something that was different than everybody else. But then I sort of realized that I needed help, and I realized that, I couldn't do it without the teacher just saying all those things, and I needed them to help me focus and help me remember a lot of things.
Cool. Were you put on medication when you were diagnosed?
I was.
Which type of medication?
It's called Concerta.
All right, so you're an athlete, right? What sports do you do here?
I run cross country and track.
And when did you start getting into sports?
I've played sports all of my life, ever since I knew how to walk, pretty much. I've been kicking a soccer ball or running around or playing basketball or just being active.
Cool. How have you seen your participation in sports affect your ADHD?
For example, on the soccer field, when I used to play soccer, I used to, when the coach would be giving instructions, I'd sometimes zone out or just kind of play with my ball or whatever, not really pay attention, but I would actually be paying attention. But like the coach wouldn't understand that, so that would cause a little frustration with the coach. But like on the field, like it didn't really affect me a whole ton, just because mainly I would take my medication, but because I was so like in love with the sport and was like so into it that I would always want to be paying attention. It was a passion of mine, so it didn't really affect it a ton.
Okay, so you already answered if you're active before being on sports teams. You just loved to be active. Did you notice a correlation between your exercise and your attention span, like after the exercise?
100%. I mean, even more so now than anything, like being in college, sometimes it can be hard to just focus on my schoolwork and a lot of that kind of thing. But after practice, I always find my best attention span to be right after I'm done practicing, because, I don't know, I just let all that energy out, so I'm just a lot more focused and have, a lot more will and, determination to actually do my work rather than before exercise when I have all this energy and just need to get it out in some way.
Cool. How has ADHD affected your ability to perform in the classroom?
It's made me very forgetful, which can, makes it really hard for me to get like the grades that I need to. Sometimes I have like not as much motivation to do schoolwork just because I just don't feel like it, or I get sidetracked really easily if I'm like on my computer, like some advertisement pops up and I want to go watch a video or stuff like that. But it's not as bad when I've taken my medicine, but I can still like see it when I do take my medicine. It still does affect me.
Have you ever had physical activity before going into a classroom setting?
Well, during night class, I would come from practice during night class. So I guess I have, yeah.
Did you see a difference in your performance in the classroom after having exercise first?
100%, yeah. I mean, I would always just go into the classroom. Didn't necessarily like the class, but I'd always sit there and just be a lot more relaxed and a lot more just focused on what the teacher was saying and, learning the content. I felt like I actually learned a lot more information than before in other classes where I didn't exercise before.
Cool. Do you think that exercise helps improve or lessen the negative side effects of ADHD?
I think it 100% improves the negative side effects. You're not going to see as many of them if you put some physical activity. One thing I've always known to do, like when I'm in a classroom, is just like play with something or have like my foot on the ball or stuff like that. So just constantly staying like physically like active, even during like in a classroom, but also before also makes a huge impact. So yeah.
So last question, what is your opinion then on the relationship between exercising and ADHD?
I have a very positive opinion since I've been doing sports for so long, and I've had ADHD the entire time that I've played sports. So I think, I have a very positive opinion of it. And I think it's not talked about enough, and I don't think people recognize it as much that don't have ADHD, and people who are studying it don't necessarily put that into account. So.
Cool, thank you. That's all the questions.